Before I start this video, I am going to warn you guys with the following. Minor swearing, minor flashing lights at the beginning of every section. Some footage is from other YouTubers, so please do not accuse me of stealing any content. And all nitpicks on here don't mean I hate the game. I adore the game just as much as everyone. It's just small critiques of the game. Now that all I've said, enjoy the video. Hello everyone and welcome to my video. As you see from this thumbnail, I am making a tier list for Infectants from a game called Toons Universe. Toons Universe is a Roblox game that is based off a very popular game called Dandy's World. Toons Universe made a demo a few months back and released in April. Many people, including myself, joined as soon as it released and loved it. I personally love it for the characters, the costumes, the cosmetics, and there's even a few YouTubers that do talk about the problems with this game, and they actually fix it. And there's one more thing that makes it really unique. The Infectants. The Infectants are pretty much the Toons from Dandy's World, but in this game they're called Infectants. Instead of being used out of ink, they are made of a green substance called Malicore. This Malicore has ended up making our characters turn into Infectants, and have given every single one of them unique abilities. Well, most of them. But I'll talk about that later. Before I start the tier list, I recommend that you play the game and check out the Infectants for yourself before you watch this video in its entirety. Or even if you want, you can like that button and subscribe. That would definitely help with this video and this channel. One last thing before I start this tier list. These placements are based off my experiences and what I've seen from other people. So if anyone gets mad about my placements, I'm very sorry about that, but it's my opinion. Okay, one last thing. If my screen turns dark, that means this is a cutoff section. So if I say anything about this game and then later it changes, I will talk about that. Or if I find out something that I didn't know about, I'll also talk about that. That's all I want to say. But if you still feel differently, you can happily comment what you feel about my placements or what you think the placements should be instead based on your experience. I'll happily read it and respond. Now with that out of the way, let's start our tier list. Last place and easiest character to go through is Squidtle the Octopus. Okay, for a good bit, I thought Squidtle was an octopus, but I found out he was a squid. So I keep calling him an octopus, I'm so sorry. Anyways, back to the video. Squidtle as an original character, I have never played before, but from what I've seen, he is okay. And Squidtle as an Infectant doesn't make him look better. He is the only character that doesn't run towards you. And there's also the fact that he only uses his tentacles to attack you. If Squidtle was on your floor, all he really does is sprout tentacles during doorways, and that's pretty much it. All you really do just gotta wait for the tentacles to go away, and that's it. You can even walk to his head, and he does nothing. Last few things I can really say is I've only died to him once out of the many times I've played. And that was because I was kind of tired and I just kind of give up. And during the newest update, they gave Squidtle a new design and I actually kind of like it. Squiddle's old design was but his new design though, it actually looks really good. Alright, next up goes from the floor to the ceiling. And that is B1 or... well, I shouldn't say one. Guido and Rossum, the Snake Twins. As a character, I've only played them a few times. They're really good with computers, but not the best at extracting. And out of the two Snake Twins, I like the yellow one, which is Rossum, more than Guido. Mainly because... mainly because Guido doesn't like most of the characters I like. I apologize for the Guido fans here. As an Infectant, they are decent. The first time I've encountered both Guido and Rossum, they actually jump scared me. And even a few weeks after I started getting used to the game, I still got scared by both of them. And I have died to them by accident a few times. So, yeah. The only reason they're really low is because they're actually incredibly easy to, ignore or avoid. This is mainly because if both Guido and Rossum are on your floor, they are humongous holes on the ceiling, and if you see eyes glowing out of the holes, you know to get away from them because one of them is in there. And if you can't see them during a blackout, you can see red lights above and below, so you'll be just fine avoiding them. Now with our lovely snake twins out of the way, next up is a character I enjoy as a player, but not so much as an infectant. Selena the Bat. Selena, as a player, I adore her with all my heart. And she was actually one of the first characters I saved up my money for. During my experience, she managed to help me get through the hardest times throughout floors, and I highly recommend getting her if you're a beginner, especially if you lose track on finding machines. For Selena as an infectant, however, to me, she is one of the scariest looking designs in the game, but out of all the times I've seen her, I barely see her at all during the floors. And I'm kind of sad about it because, like I said, I love her design and I love her mechanic. And speaking of mechanic, her mechanic is basically a weeping angel, which is a very common but unique horror trope in video games. If you guys want to know what a weeping angel is, I would recommend to just look it up. It only takes 2 seconds. Okay, so for people who don't want to search it up anyway, a weeping angel is a creature that doesn't come after you if you look at them, but if you don't look at them, they will come after you. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of sad that I barely see Selena as an infectant. And there's also the fact, like Squiddle and GNR, I've only died to her a few times. If Toons Universe somehow sees this, I kind of recommend Selena to be in more floors. That's all I kind of really ask for Selena. I love everything about her, I just want her to show up more. Okay, with Selena's placement completed, we are starting to get into the more difficult and or harder side of the field. Starting with this next character, Nimbus the Sheep. As a player, he's okay, in my opinion, mainly because out of the 2 starters, I used Weffel way more. And whenever I used Nimbus, he died way quicker whenever it was in support or solo. But I do love his design and voice. And also, he's kind of like me when I'm tired. As an infectant, he's just there. From what I've seen, he doesn't do that much. All he really does is see you and chase you, that's it. He may have a unique ability, but I generally don't know. Hi, future me here. I'm sorry for cutting this video again. I did eventually find out what Nimbus actually does instead of just chasing you. Apparently, he's the reason gas floors happen and causes your speed and sanity to go way lower than it should be. Yeah, I just want to clear that up before anyone yells at me. So, yeah, that's all I really have for Nimbus. He's just there and chases you. But I do gotta admit, he is sometimes annoying in a good way. He makes things more challenging, along with a few others. So I can give him that, along with his very unique character design. Okay, next up is pretty much just Nimbus again, but different. Patrick the Bear. As a character, I do enjoy him a lot more than his infectant. Mainly because, for one, he's a healer, and two, I do really enjoy his character design and voice.
Splendid work.
As an infectant, he's literally just Nimbus. But he appears more frequently and is faster. I was kind of disappointed by that, because when I was looking in his info, it is canon that his infectant is blind. But he can still see other players immediately, which I think is stupid. I feel like it would have been cooler if he mainly heard the players from completing machines, not just from immediately seeing you, because he's blind. So, like, maybe as soon as the machines were finished, he would, like, run towards you, and if you don't move in a way in time, he will attack you. Yeah, that's all I really have for describing Patcher. Love him as a player, not as much as an infectant. Like I said earlier, if Toons Universe ever sees us, maybe, just maybe, they will make Patcher's mechanic a bit different as an infectant, but who knows. Now, with Nimbus Jr. out of the way, we can actually talk about a character that's unique and is actually the newest character that became an infectant. Fantasia the Unicorn. As a player, Fantasia is one of my favorite characters to play. Mainly because she is similar to Patcher, but whenever she uses her special power, she gives a boost to basically any character that she helps. Or chooses, I should say. Similar to Selena, she is a character I love and is one of the first characters I got as well. And is another character I recommend if you're a beginner. One last thing about her as a player, I do love her personality and her chaotic energy, with many people, including her sister Copper, which I will talk about much later. So, I want to ask you guys something. How does... I'm sorry, give me a second. This cute, adorable, chaotic unicorn turn into an infectant who looks like a demon spawn from hell? Like, how in the world did they do that? Speaking of demon spawn, let's talk about her as an infectant. Fantasia only appears whenever you get attacked by another infectant. Whenever you see her, she becomes her regular form, but just black. She will give you an offer for a heal, which, for me, most of the time I got healed, and it was a much better experience for me whenever I was struggling. But on the other hand, the few times where her offer made her become a demonic form was not fun. Similar to Selena, she has got to be one of the scariest designs I've ever seen in a game like this. And yeah, if anyone sees her actual form, they would probably be scared like me. Okay, as much as I'm glazing Fantasia as an infectant, she is not perfect. For one, she is very, very slow. Every time I got chased by her, it would take several minutes for her to become faster than anyone in the entire game. And similar to the other people I've talked about previously, I've only died to her a few times. Hi, feature me again. So a few days after I recorded this section, Toons Universe kind of fixed Fantasia's problems a little bit. They did make her go a bit faster instead of just waiting like 7 years for her to just catch up. And also they made healing properties more expensive, but I still think it doesn't really change that much. Like, if you're an expert at the game, I don't think there'll be any problem with like not buying any medical supplies. And also I ran into this earlier. Whenever Fantasia is, like, at her fastest point, there's, like, a point where, like, she just stops running in general and just goes back to being slow, which I got extremely confused about. But, like, I just wanted to point it out here. I don't know if it's just me. Yeah, so basically, she's good with everything except for the fact she's, like, slow as a snail. That's it. Now, with Fantasia out of the way, we are getting to the upper half of the best and also most difficult infectants. Starting with this little guy, Tipo the Tadpole. As a player, Tipo is gotta be the sweetest ray of sunshine I've ever seen in my life in this game. Like, look at his face and tell me that you would not adopt this kid. Like, he is precious. I have played him a few times, and most experiences with him were really fun. And, like I said, is another character I recommend playing, along with many other YouTubers I've seen talk about him. As an infectant, he is incredibly fast. Not as fast as another character I'll talk about later, but still incredibly fast. He also ends up leaving a slime trail, which can slow players down, which is unique and a good advantage. Well, for Tipo anyways. I have died to him a few times, but not as much as the others that will be mentioned later. I don't really have any problems with Tipo, and the main reason he's here is because these other characters I have seen are much more harder to face and get away from. I still love you though, Tipo, and your costume. Now with Tipo out of the way, let's get to the hardest characters to get through in the entire game. Starting with Discard the Dolphin. Okay, similar to Squirtle, he is one of the few characters I've barely played as. But what I've seen is he is very helpful towards support characters. As a solo player, I'm not sure. I have seen some of his voice lines and personality, and I think he's a pretty chill dude. But compared to his Infectant, not so much. Similar to characters like Patcher and Tipo, he shows up frequently, Yeah, he shows up frequently, and he is a menace. Sometimes as soon as you get off your elevator, he will immediately start chasing other players. And whenever you're hiding, he can literally use his echolocation to find you, and that's not fun. Regardless of that, it's still a unique mechanic, and the only reason he's here is because he's one of the slower characters, but he's very hard to get away from, so I can give him that. And he's also one of the few characters I've died to from a lot of times as a beginner. And especially a person who has gotten used to the game after a few weeks. Alright, now with Discard out of the way, we can get to our final four. Starting with this parasite. Fizzle the Lizard. Fizzle the Lizard. Fizzle as a player, he is a precious baby. Similar to Tipo and Fantasia. He is just a cute little dog that runs around and gets chased by a lot of people. Also, for now, he is one of the only characters that can only speak through sounds and mumbles, which I thought was really cool. He is one of the few characters I've never played before, but from what I've seen, he is mainly a distractor and just gets chased by other people, so you can complete a task faster. As an Infectant, he is insane. In the game, one of the only things that's keeping him here and not higher is the fact that he doesn't activate until you're about to get to the next floor. However, if you or another player mess up on a machine once or even twice, you are not escaping from him alive. Remember the character I was talking about, which was incredibly one of the fastest, if not the fastest characters in the game? This is him. I'm not even joking you. Every single time I've accidentally messed up a machine or one of my friends has, I have nearly died, if not died to him, every single time he's woken up. And the only way you can really avoid him is if you stay still. But if you are doing a machine while he's nearby, he will still attack you anyway. So that's bad. The joke I made at the beginning of this section, yeah, I said that because every time I look at him, he reminds me of a velociraptor and it has the speed of a velociraptor. So, yeah. Okay, so I don't know why I called Fizzle a velociraptor even though he looks nothing like a velociraptor. I should have just said he has the speed of a velociraptor. If anything, he looks like a Dilophosaurus. Like, if you look at it, I feel like that would make more sense. Yeah, outside of the fact you can easily avoid Fizzle if you complete tasks and machines without any mistakes whatsoever, yeah, I have no complaints, and he's got to be one of the most challenging and fun characters to go against. But the other three just are a bit more harder to go through. Starting with a specific character I was talking about earlier. Copper the Dragon. As a player, Copper has got to be one of the sweetest characters I've seen, and I relate to Copper along with a few of my friends. And according to all the trailers I've seen, I think Copper is considered the main character of the game. I have recently gotten Copper, and she is really fun to play with as, especially if you're working with other people. As an Infectant, She has got to be one of the most annoying characters to go through and get away from. Outside of Fizzle and a few other characters that I will talk about later, Copper's gotta be one of the fastest characters in the game. If you ever get chased by Copper, she will hunt you down and not stop chasing you until she attacks you. Whenever I got chased by Copper, she mainly attacked me and has only killed me a few times. Even if you somehow get away from Copper without getting damaged, you will end up having extremely low sanity and stamina, which is not fun, especially if other characters are chasing you soon after. And that's all I really have for Copper. The only reason she isn't higher is because the other two characters are much more difficult to face, and I feel like Copper would be happy just being in third place. Now with Copper out of the way, let's get to one of our final characters. Koi the Fish. Koi as a player, I absolutely adore Koi. She is incredibly well to use, especially due to the fact she has incredibly high stats when it comes to machines and sometimes of speed. Character-wise, I think she's really sweet and caring and also very athletic, but when she gets into a dark place, it's not fun for her, which I think is a unique flaw to her. However, as much as I like Koi along with a few others, her as an Infectant is not fun to go through. For one, Koi is one of the most appearable characters throughout the entire game. Two, she is incredibly fast, along with a few other characters, but not as fast. But fast enough to get you attacked. Three, similar to Copper, she will not stop chasing you until you get attacked, and sometimes she will lead you into another group of Infectants, which can get you killed much faster. I believe outside of Fizzle and our final contestant, Koi has got to be the character I've died to the most. The only reason Koi is not in first place is mainly because of her speed. I feel like if you have a fast enough character, you can get away from Koi in time. However, if you have a slower character, I don't think you have a chance on surviving well with Koi. And also, I may have not been talking a lot about designs, but Koi's design is not the best to me. It's just her regular form, but bigger, and just covered in green a little bit. Now, with Koi out of the way, we can finally get to our hardest, most challenging, and unique characters to go through in all of Toons' universe so far. And that is the one and only, drumroll please, Waffle the Chipmunk. For the last time, let's talk about our characters before the Infectants. Waffle as a player, I love very much, just as much as the next person. Like I've mentioned in Nimbus's section, she is a character I've used way more as a starter character than him. And she's really enjoyable to play as. But I've seen a lot of people recommend Nimbus over Waffle, so I'm one of the few people that are going to say that Waffle is probably better than Nimbus. Except maybe for speed. She is sort of slow compared to Nimbus. Personality-wise, I relate to her very much similar to Koi and Copper. And also I love the fact that Waffle has a Southern accent. Okay, so for Waffle as an Infectant, she has got to be the most overpowered characters to face against. Every time I see Waffle on the floor, I immediately get scared. Mainly because, for one, her design has got to be one of the most unique and terrifying I've ever seen outside of Fantasia's and maybe Selena's. Two, outside of several characters I've mentioned previously, like Fizzle and Copper, she is incredibly fast, and I feel like speed-wise, she's above Copper, but below Fizzle. She is also similar to Koi, where she will hunt you down non-stop until you get attacked, or she is near another Infectant. Also, I believe out of every single Infectant, Waffle is the character I've been attacked and died to the most. What I find her unique as well for Waffle is the fact that she has a waffle cart. The waffle cart is the only thing that can really stall Waffle. Sometimes. I only say sometimes because whenever you see Waffle's waffle cart, you gotta find a waffle first, then put it in the cart and ring the bell. If you don't hide in time, Waffle will avoid the cart completely and chase you down, which for one can completely waste your time and two nearly get you killed, if not getting you killed as soon as she gets to you. Yeah, so if you ever encounter Waffle, make sure to hear her laugh and make sure to get away from Waffle as soon as possible, or place a waffle in her waffle cart so she can get stalled for about 10 seconds. And that's all I have for this tier list. I'm sorry this was way longer than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be maybe like 15-20 minutes. But I think 25 to 30 minutes is a good amount of time to talk about everything. To people who watched this video, thank you so much for hearing me talk about Toons universe, the characters, and their infectants and mechanics. I hope you guys liked the video and hope you take my advice and survive as long as you can throughout the floors. I hope you guys have an amazing day and I hope to see y'all in the future. Bye guys! If you guys are still here, thank you so much for watching till the end. This video, I think, took me around a week to do. So I appreciate you guys watching all my hard work. So, I hope to see you guys later.